StraighTAllDay.com.
Show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expect to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What's that? That's the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself. You're going to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then what we do is put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today we are getting into part one of two. I think I got a two-part series here. Yes, this is a two-part series. Signs. These are the signs that you need to go get yourself some help. Signs that you need to stop and get some help. Any of you ever seen that Michael Jordan meme? Stop, get some help. All right, these are the signs that you need to go get yourself some help, that you need help with what you're working on right now, that if you keep doing things on your own, you are just going to get into deeper trouble than the trouble that you're in already. So this could be hiring a coach, hiring a trainer, getting some assistance, getting a team in place, all things that you need to do, signs that you need to hire yourself some coaching. Now, before I get into this, let me remind everybody that I send out a daily motivation text, or inform me if you're new around here. I send out this text called the Daily Motivation every Monday for free. And I send it to everybody who's in my text community. And let me tell you what this message is going to do. It's going to have you starting your day in a position of being focused, sharp, and on point. So if that sounds like something that you want, all you got to do is text me right now at the following number, 305-384-6894. And once you text me there, every day when I send out the daily motivation, you'll receive it straight to your phone free of charge. And workonyourgameuniversity.com, that is the place where you go if you want to work with me directly. That's the only place you need to go if you want to work with me direct, if you want to get specific help from me on your mindset, on strategies. That's the game plan for what you're doing, for your systems, meaning how can you execute consistently, and also for your accountability. How do you know that your systems are working, your strategies working, and that you are working the way that you're supposed to? You'll know because you're being held accountable. All of that happens at workonyourgameuniversity.com. So if you haven't been there yet, or if you've been there but you didn't do anything when you went there, go there again, or go there for the first time and actually do something this time. And on that site, it's very simple. The options that you have are what to do. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. If you want to work with Dre Baldwin directly, that is the place where you go to get started doing that. Now, this topic, signs that you need to hire yourself a coach. I talked about 4 reasons why you need to hire a coach back in episode 2270, which was, looking at my numbers here, about almost a year ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but episode 2270, I gave you signs that you need to hire yourself a coach. Again, in episode 2270, episode 2251, just a few weeks before that, I told you why you need a coach, why everybody needs a coach. In episode 2243, I laid out my 4-part coaching process. Episode 2085, the real job of a coach or a trainer. So you see, I've talked about this stuff a lot, and today we're going to talk about it even more because I want to make sure that I'm laying this out as clearly as possible, because here's why this matters so much. It matters a lot because anyone who's going to perform at your best, I promise you that you will do a lot better when you have someone coaching you to do it, at least if they're a qualified person, than if you just do everything by yourself. There's only so much that you'll be able to push yourself. There's only so much that you actually know personally on your own. And there's only so much that you can hold yourself accountable. You should hold yourself accountable. You should be able to hold yourself accountable. I talked about accountability gaps in episode number 765, closing your accountability gap. So you should hold yourself accountable to a certain extent. But there's only so much any one individual can do it for themselves, where you're going to need an extra set of eyes and ears and just an extra mouth of somebody who can tell you something that maybe you need to hear that otherwise you wouldn't have heard on your own. You get what I'm saying here? So that's what we're going to talk about here today, about signs that you need to hire yourself a coach. Now, full disclaimer here. All right, I am a coach. This is a professional service that I offer as a coach. So you could say that this topic is a little bit self-serving. Well, I'll also tell you every episode of this show is self-serving. Every YouTube video, every daily motivation text, every Instagram post, every Facebook status update, everything I publish is self-serving in some way. But I want you to understand that the signs that I'm going to uncover here today and tomorrow do not necessarily mean that you need to come find me. It doesn't mean you need to go to workonyourgameuniversity.com so you can get help with your mindset, strategy, systems, and execution. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could mean it, but not necessarily. Because my coaching is not for everyone. All right, I ain't everybody's flavor. But the signs that I'm going to share here today and tomorrow are a sign, if any of these signs apply to you, and I'm going to bet that they will, is a sign that you need to hire someone to help you, as the signs that I point out today are going to be indisputable proof that your current process, if you even want to call it a process, because some of you, let's be honest, some of you don't have a process. You're doing stuff, but there's no process. Process means there is intentionality behind what you're doing, and there's a formula being followed. Most people don't have intentionality or a formula. They're just doing stuff and hoping through effort and hard work and praying to God that it works out. So I'm gonna be generous and call what you're doing a process. Anything I point out today or tomorrow are signs that your process, quote unquote, is not working. We got it? Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is signs that you need to hire a coach. Number one, you have financial goals that you are nowhere close to reaching. This is a good sign that you need to hire a coach. Why am I starting with financial goals? Why? Because financial goals is usually the reason that we go to work. All right. Any of you who is at work right now, or you're on your way to work, or you're on your way home from work, or you're on a break from work, or before I said this, you were thinking about work, the work you got to do tomorrow, or the work you just finished doing today. All right. The reason you go to work is for money. All right. None of us works for free. And if you are working for free, you're working for free so you can get to the point you can work for money. And even if what you do is something that you love, and you would say you would proverbially do it for free, you wouldn't literally do it for free. You're getting paid, so it's easy to say you would do it for free, but you wouldn't actually do it for free, because then how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to have a roof over your head? How are you going to have food to eat and clothes on your back if you're doing all your work for free? That kind of doesn't add up. That's a math issue. So this is the reason why I start with, if you have financial goals you're nowhere close to reaching, there's probably something in your process of what you're doing that needs to be edited, updated, adjusted, changed, maybe even completely deleted. This is one that requires you to be honest with yourself, because you have to be clear with yourself about what are your financial goals, and you got to be clear with yourself about where you're at relative to those goals. You got to be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, am I where I want to be? Yes or no? All right, is my current trajectory going to get me there in a time frame that makes sense for me, given when you want to be, where you want to be? Is this getting me there? The answer is either yes or no. This is not a maybe. This is not a possibly. This is not a, well, if I keep doing this or that, or if this happens. No, it's a yes or a no. I talk to people every day about what they're working on, what they're trying to do, where they're trying to go. And some people can be honest with me and tell me where they're really at and what they're doing. And some people will lie to me and tell me that they're on track for a goal when they know that telling me that they're on track for a goal, or really they're telling themselves, because what they tell me doesn't really matter if you tell me the truth or a lie, but it does matter if you tell yourself the truth or a lie. But people will tell me they're on track to reach a goal when they know that that's total bullshit. For a yearly income goal, and any of you have a yearly income goal, just look at your last 3 months. Are you trending towards where you want to be? Yes or no? Look at your last 3 months, just factor that out, multiply by 4. That's 3 months is a quarter. And are you getting there or are you not? Are you trending upward? Are you in the direction? Not in the direction. Are you on track to get there? That's a black and white yes or no. If you need to do more to get to where you want to be, let's say right now you're not on track, right? Here's the question. Do you have the resources, specifically the time, to actually do more? Because sometimes people say, well, look, I'm not on track to get to where I want to be. I just need to do these 3 things or these 7 things, and then I will be on track. Okay, here's my question to that response. Do you have the resources to actually do more? Do you have the capacity to do more than what you're doing right now? See, if you're working as much as you could be working right now, given your life commitments, your family commitments, your home commitments, your non-work commitments, and then how much time you're spending at work, how much capacity do you actually have to work any more than you are right now? If you don't have much, then you saying, well, I just need to do these extra 5 things and then things will work out. But it doesn't really make sense, because you don't have the resources to do 5 more things. You don't have the time. You don't have the capacity. So understand, in life you have 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, and focus. If you need to do more than what you're doing right now to get to your goal, yet you don't have the capacity to actually add that more into your current process, then how are you actually going to get there? That equation doesn't add up. The math is not mathing, as people like to sometimes say. Many entrepreneurs that I talk to are already working full time. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're already working full time, meaning you're probably working, most entrepreneurs I know work more than 40 hours a week. So if the new thing that you want to add in, or that you need to add in, or whatever you need to do to adjust your process, if that requires another 15 or 20 hours of your time, here's my question: where is that 15 or 20 hours coming from? Because you don't have it. You don't have 15 to 20 hours to add into what you already have going on. So if you don't have it, then again, the math ain't mathing. That doesn't make sense. Now I know, and this is what I sometimes hear from people, that yes, there is some random occurrence that could happen right now and it could change everything for you. If this random thing happens, or this thing that you don't really have your finger on the pulse of making it happen, it will kind of have to just happen to you or for you. Here's my question: how long are you willing to keep betting on this random occurrence happening? How long are you willing to keep betting on something happening that has not happened up to this point? You have no reasonable expectation of it actually happening, and you're not really in control of making it happen. And by the way, when I introduce the show, what do I say every day? Personal initiative to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. So if you don't have the ability and you aren't doing anything that is going to give you a reasonable expectation of this thing taking place, of you making it happen, how could you sit around and say, well, hey, maybe that thing will happen? Listen, that's hope. And I don't mind people having hope. Hope is a good thing to have as a human being. It's probably the reason that we stay alive and wake up every day and get out of bed. But hope on its own is not a strategy. Hope itself is not a strategy, especially if we're talking about something that is black and white, like the money that you want to make and the business that you want to do, the revenue that you want to generate. And again, any of you who's at work right now, or you're on your way to work, why do you go to work? You go to work because of the money. Right? Nobody goes to work because you just love the job. Listen, I'm not saying you don't love the job, but you wouldn't love it as much if you weren't getting paid for it, right? So we can't go off of hope for something that's clearly black and white, plainly black and white. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, are signs that you need to find yourself some help or a coach. Number 2, you have ideas, but no true game plan for making those ideas come to fruition. This is another one that requires you to look in the mirror. Do you have a clear plan for what you want to do? Not an idea, but a plan. There's a difference between having ideas and having a plan. So if I'm speaking to someone and they say, Dre, I want to finish writing my book. All right, what's your plan for writing your book? And someone will say, well, look, I know I'm going to get somebody on Fiverr who's going to make the cover for me. And I have a friend who is an editor and they're going to do the editing for me. And I just need to sit down and write. And that's their answer. That is not a plan. Those are ideas. Those are 3 different ideas for things that you could do in the process. And those 3 things could help you get your book finished, but that's not a plan. A plan is a laid out step-by-step, I'm going to do this, then this, then this, then this. That's a plan. So if you have ideas of pieces of things that you could do, but there's no game plan. So we're going to do, again, a game plan is things in order. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. If you don't have that game plan, a clear game plan, then what you probably have are a bunch of ideas. And if you don't have a game plan, right now, you need to get yourself a coach. Can you draw a line from each point of your plan to an expected outcome? In other words, because I'm doing this, this, and this, that will lead me to this part of the outcome, and these will lead me to this part, and these will lead me to that part. Can you draw a clear line? Doing this is leading me towards this outcome. I'm not talking about a hoped for outcome. I'm talking about an expected outcome. So if someone says, well, I want to make more money in my business from my expertise in topic A, B, C. I say, okay, well, how are you going to do it? And they say, well, look, I want to make a course on this subject. Period. That's what they say. I'm going to make a course. Making a course is an idea. Even if you go and make the course, okay, you did it, you made the course, but it's just an idea. Now, what's going to happen next? You have a course. Now, does anybody know that you have a course? Do the people who need the course know that you have the course? Do the people who need the course know what the course is going to do for them? Do the people who need the course know how much it costs? Do they even know that you exist? And are you doing anything to actively let them know about any of the above questions? So just making a course and releasing it does not lend itself to an expected outcome. The only expected outcome is that you have a course, is that it exists. And we can swap out a course for a book. All right, so you have it, but it doesn't do anything. There's nothing in your plan about how you're actually going to turn that into an outcome, which is usually if someone's making a course and selling it, usually you're doing that because you want to make some money, right? So making a course is only 20% of the work. The other 80% is how you get somebody to buy it. All right, the real work is you selling the course. A good coach will point this out to you. Someone like myself, as I just did, a good coach will point this out to you before you even start making the course. Before you start writing your book, before you create your program, I will say to you, okay, you're going to make a course, you're going to write a book, you're going to make a program, great. All right, what's it going to be about? Who's it for? I'll ask you those questions. Then I'll say, okay, well, you thought about how you're going to sell this? Because I'm assuming you're making it because you want to make money, right? Or are you making it because you just want to put it on your coffee table just to say that you did it? If you want to do that, then that's a different equation, okay? I'm assuming, and you can correct me if my assumption is wrong, any of you. You ever work with me, correct me if I'm wrong on this assumption. You can let me know preemptively. Dre, I'm letting you know up front, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing it because I just want to do it. If that's the case, just let me know, so then I'll have a different frame for how I ask you questions and how I'm looking at whatever you are sharing with me. But if your frame is you are trying to make money from the actions that you are doing, and by the way, that 100% of the people who come through Work on Your Game University are trying to make money from what they're doing. Why? Because you are going to financially invest in joining the university. So usually people financially invest in things, they usually want to get a return on that investment in the same form of what they invested in Work on Your Game University. I'm not saying everywhere you put in money, you got to get money back. For example, I pay to go to the gym. I don't expect the gym to make me money. But when it comes to Work on Your Game University, when people invest financially, they're usually expecting that they're going to make some money on the back end. So that's the expectation that I have. That's my assumption, okay? So I'm letting you all know what assumption I have. If I'm wrong about that, or if I shouldn't have that assumption when I'm talking to you, just let me know when we have our conversation. And I'll say, okay, thank you for letting me know that. And then I'll be looking at it differently. But assuming that you want to make money, you tell me you're going to make a program or a course or a book, I'm going to ask you, okay, how are you going to make money from it? Just making it itself does not make any money. Like here, you see, any of you watching this on video right now, see these books behind me? How much money are these books producing in the time that I'm sitting here talking to you? Zero. Well, technically they could be making money because somebody can go on any of our sites and they can buy a book. So for example, let me see what this person just bought. So somebody just placed the order on the site a few minutes ago. Somebody just ordered the Mirror Motivation with the Bulletproof Bundle, and they got the Mental Game Super Duper Bundle, which is 4 more books. So that's 8. Somebody just ordered 8 books on our website, and it ended up spending about $136. So technically, the books can sell even when you're not actively doing anything. But understand, in order for those books to sell, for that transaction to happen, there are some things that I had to do actively so that the person who made that purchase actually knows that my books exist and knows where they can go to buy them, and they're prepared to make that purchase. But I have to make the offers to them. Right? That doesn't just magically happen just because I wrote a book. And just because you slapped it up on Amazon does not mean people are going to go buy it. That is a strong it's called a misbelief. I don't even think that's a real word, but I just made it up. A strong misbelief about the book, course, information products industry, that if you just create something and put it out, then all of a sudden the money is going to come flowing in. That is not true. So a good coach is going to point out the holes in your idea. And there are probably holes in your idea. I have coaches who point out the holes in my idea. So no idea is perfect. No idea is infallible. So when you're writing a book, making a course, or posting on out to social media, those alone are not game plans, folks. I'm not saying don't do them. I do all those things. I got books, courses, and I post to social media. But those are not game plans. Those are tactics. They're actions. Now, I talk to too many entrepreneurs who do these things as if, or talk about these things as if they are solid plans. And some of these people, unfortunately, this is the unfortunate part, not that people have ideas and call them plans. That can be fixed. That's not that unfortunate. We can fix that. What's unfortunate is that some of these people tell me that they have a coach. They're like, yeah, I got a coach, and this is what I'm doing. I'm going to post it out to social media. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to write my course. I'm like, you paid a coach to come up with that? You need to get your money back. Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is signs that you need to find yourself a coach. Number 3, you have friends or family members helping you out, quote unquote, and you are not paying them for that help. All right, this is a sign that you need to go find yourself a coach. And when I say coach, I'm not talking about a mentor. Mentors generally, when I say mentor, I'm talking about someone who gives you advice or you can bounce ideas off them every now and then under no formal obligation or formal agreement. They are under no agreement to respond to you when you need them. That's a mentor. That's a person you can just go to every now and then. Hey, let me tell you about this. Let me ask you about this. What do you think about that? And they can throw some information at you, but there's no formal relationship there. That's a mentor. And usually you don't pay a mentor. So a mentor might be the pastor at your church. They could be a mentor to you. Or you know somebody in business who's a little bit older than you, and every once in a while you talk to them and they give you some advice and some ideas. That's a mentor. A coach, on the other hand, is a formal arrangement where the coach says to you, all right, we're going to talk this often. We're going to talk for this long. Here are the things that we're going to go over. Here are the things that I want you to do. Here, my responsibility. Here's what I'm going to commit to for you. Here's what I need you to commit to with me. And it's a formal arrangement that this is what we're going to do. This is when we're going to talk. And this is what I need to see from you. That's what a coach is. And usually you're paying them because it's a formal arrangement and they are formally committing to helping you achieve an outcome, and they're formally committing their resources to you. All right. So if you have a friend or a family member or a mentor helping you out, but you are not paying that person, you need to get yourself a coach. Why is this? Why would I say something like this? Because some of you right now, I just called you out indirectly. But why am I saying this? Let me tell you why. Because if all you needed to advance your business was your friends or your family members to just help you out, well, guess what? This show would not exist. And let me tell you something about this show. Because you might be listening to this, say, okay, well, Dre, look, maybe you're right. Dre, maybe your show does not need to exist because all I gotta do is call my friends and my family members. They'll help me out. So maybe your show shouldn't exist. So let me offer a point to the contrary of that hypothetical counterpoint. This show, all time, has been listened to over 6.6 million times, according to the data, the latest data that has been released by our statistical aggregator, 6.6 million times, which to me is social proof that there's something useful about what this show offers. And most of you do not know me personally, and for most of you, we are not directly related, at least not first or second level related. I mean, if you want to get technical, we're all somehow related. If the world started with Adam and Eve and you believe that, then it means we're all related in some way, right? But get the spirit of what I'm saying, not the letter of what I'm saying. If you have friends, if all you needed was your friends and family helping you out, then you wouldn't need, people like me would not exist. You just call your friends for help with your mindset, your strategy, your systems, and your accountability. And your friends can help you out. And that'd be all you need. All right? You call your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, and you be good. Yet, here you are listening to this right now. Why are you listening to this? If we are not related. I only got one sibling. I only got two parents. And most of my cousins, I know them. It ain't that many of them. It ain't 100 of them. But I just told you we've been listened to 6.6 million times. They ain't listening that much. All right. Why is this? Why are you here? Because your friends and family members are unqualified to help you build a business. Let me take a sip of water while you think about that one. Your friends and family members are unqualified to help you build a business. My friends and family members are unqualified to help me build a business. Most of them. Now, listen, everybody who is, the people who do what I do, who are qualified to help people build businesses, it ain't that many of us. So some of you may have a friend or family member who actually is qualified. So if you're my cousin or you're somebody in my family who is listening to this right now, then you do have a family member who is qualified to help you build a business. But understand, if you work with me, you will pay me. All right, you're not getting there is no family rate over here at Work on Your Game University. In case any of you was wondering, or anybody's listening to this, you think about sending a cousin or a nephew or something like that over this way, there is no family discount here. You will pay. Because if you went to anybody else, you would pay. And when you pay attention. All right, just in case anybody needs to pass the word to anybody else. The whole thing is this. Most of your friends and family members are unqualified to help you. Your Uncle Ray Ray does not know how to help you formulate a strategy and mold it into a system. Your cousin Pookie is not qualified to hold you accountable. Oh, would you say your mom is a mindset coach? Okay, how's that going? Okay, it's probably going as good as it did when my dad was my barber back in the day. All right. All right, you see the haircut I got now, right? All right, so the whole point is you don't want to leave it to your friends and family to help you get yourself where you need to go in your business. And I told you this in episode 1602. Why to never do business with friends or family. I did a whole episode telling you, do not do business with your friends and your family members. Now, again, for some of you, there are exceptions, okay? I'm being clear here. I want you to understand the spirit of this idea, not take it literally to the letter. Because, as I told you a couple days ago, I'm going to homeschool my son. When he's old enough, he should do business with family. He's going to do business with me because I know what the hell I'm doing. So he has an exception because he has someone around him who actually does know how to do business. Most people do not. All right, there's no one in my immediate family that is qualified to help me build a business. Why? Because none of them built a business. They don't know. They would know the first thing to do if they had to do what I do. Right? So most people have that situation. You don't have people around you who know how to build a business that are kind of in-house, so to speak, to where you wouldn't have to pay to get access to their information. So you should be investing. All right? You need to be investing. Don't try to go cheap. I just told you not too long ago, you don't want to go cheap on your investments. And when it comes to building your business, that's a big investment. Don't go cheap on that. That was just a few weeks ago, episode 25, 28. Do not go cheap. So tomorrow, we're going to get into part 2 of this because I got more. I thought I only had a few points, but I got a few more that I need to share in tomorrow's episode. But let's recap today's. First of all, signs that you need to hire yourself a coach. Point number 1, you have financial goals that you are nowhere close to reaching, and most of you go to work because you want to make money. So if your financial goals are not close to being reached, then you should look at that as an emergency that you need to fix immediately. Point number 2, you have ideas but no true game plan for making them happen. Ideas are random different things that you could, should, and maybe will do. A game plan is a step-by-step process for how you're actually going to do them, how one leads to the next and the next and the next and the next. You don't have that, get yourself a coach. Number 3, you have friends and family members helping you out, quote unquote, but you're not paying for that help. All right, everybody's heard the saying, you get what you pay for. Almost everybody has heard that, almost everybody believes it, yet people go out and they try to do things on the cheap. And I already told you, don't do things cheap. You do things cheap, the kind of results you produce will be cheap. And most of you probably don't see yourselves as cheap. So don't act cheap, and then you won't be cheap. All that said, tomorrow we're going to get into part 2 of this. Text me. Tell me you want to get the daily motivation message that I send out for free every single day to everyone in my text community. My number is 305-384-6894. And workonyourgameuniversity.com. You're ready to make yourself expensive. You want to be expensive? Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. I got you covered. Work on your game. Dre all